Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another College and Career Pathways, where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. we provide you with information on various colleges and universities, financial aid resources, trade schools, technical programs, career readiness skills, all designed to help you make the best career decisions possible. I'm Toni Cureton, your host, and today we are back with Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. Colleen, welcome. We're so glad to have you. And we're going to continue on in our financial literacy series. And today we're going to be talking about saving on college tuition. Colleen, we're so glad to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Glad to be back. And it's great that this week has a cohesive theme, that today we're looking at saving money on tuition for school. And then the next one we're going to look at is, okay, now we've borrowed the money. How are we going to deal with these student loans?
Yeah.
So we're going to try and have less of them.
Yes.
So as I have videos sometimes, this one happens to be a good one. So, I'm going to share. But I need to get a big screen.
Why does college financing have to be so dang tricky? And tuition is crazy expensive? Youch! Where's a step stool when you need one?
Tell you what, I'll help you out with your tuition troubles if you stop talking out loud to yourself.
Oh, okay, deal.
Now, as a librarian, I've seen students come and go, and a lot of them leave college with enormous amounts of tuition to pay back. I'm talking staggering, outlandish dollar amounts.
Oh boy.
It's a sad story, but you can minimize or possibly even eliminate tuition costs if you're smart about it. Consider taking care of your core credits at a local community college, then transferring to your school of choice to complete your degree. You can also explore challenging for credits. Some colleges allow you to skip a course if you can demonstrate that you're proficient in the subject matter. This can save time and reduce your overall tuition. A smart, proactive plan can help you save lots of cash.
Make a pro game plan. Got it.
Once you have your plan in place, it's time to start financing your tuition. First and foremost, go for the free money.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
There is a ton of free money out there just waiting to be claimed. So apply for every scholarship, grant, and award you can. You don't have to be a mega genius or a sports star to get a scholarship, and you might qualify for grant money you wouldn't expect. Free money can come from a variety of government, nonprofit, or private sources. Your employer, your parents' employers, professional associations, and service clubs may also provide funding. It's important to act quickly and keep on top of new deadlines throughout your studies, so free money can catch some of your tuition for you. Think fast.
Gotcha. Grab the free cash.
Next, use your money, which means provide some extra funding for yourself. Education savings are great if you have them. Otherwise, consider a part-time job or a work-study program. Earning while you study will help you pay as you go and will keep your tuition from adding up.
Self-reliance. Check.
Good attitude, but your money might only get you so far, which brings us to borrowed money. If you do need student loans, make sure you trim down the amount you borrow as much as possible. Some schools even offer tuition installment plans that can reduce your need for loans. For any money you do borrow, it's essential to spend it wisely. Though it may be tempting to max out your loans and credit lines to live the college dream, you might wake up from that dream extremely broke. I mean ridiculously broke, up to your eyeballs in piles of debt.
Okay. Yep. Eyes on the prize.
Good. So, to save on your tuition, use free money, your money, and borrowed money. In that order. Lesson over. Bye.
What a nice lady. Shh. Wait. What?
Don't make me shush you.
So that's very cute. Oh, it's over here. Okay, looking at how to save on tuition. Now, we're talking about further education than high school. I'm not talking specifically about it must be a 4-year university, it must be a private school. This could be a certification program. This could be, an academy. Really any sort of spending that you need to take on to reach your career goals, right? So about 4 in 10 students have some sort of student loan, some sort of debt in their name taken out. Nearly $1.5 trillion in student loan debt, and it's just getting higher. I know forgiving student loan debt or not is a hot topic right now. There's a lot of people who feel it should be forgiven. There's others who say, well, they signed on the dotted line, they should pay it back. But it'll be interesting to see where that goes. The average graduate has $37,000. So let's look at it this way. You think, oh my gosh, 37,000, that's way too much. I'm not going to have that. Well, we don't know where it came from, but some schools are up to $40,000 one single year. This could be your parents pay for the undergrad, but you have to pay for a graduate degree. This is maybe, again, your parents paid all the way up through medical school. The 30,000 isn't really an astronomical number. It does sound pretty middle of the road. So how are we going to pay for this? Well, we're going to start with free money, get as much of that as we can. Work on your money. Anything you have is going to be cheaper than borrowed money. And borrowed money is really what we're going to focus on next time. So paying for school with free money, scholarships, student awards. It may sound, yeah, scholarships. I've heard that. Everybody tells me to apply for scholarships, but there's so much more out there than I think you think there is. There are, again, ditch the stereotype. When I was in school, the only reason I thought someone would get a scholarship is either for sports or for grades, right? You're really, 4.5, 4.3, or you're the star quarterback, right? And I didn't have either of those. So I didn't really get any scholarships. There are so many other opportunities. I work at Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. We give away over $100,000 a year in scholarships. We have about 32 students each year that get a scholarship. It's not always the top student. My dad used to work for Pepsi Cola. I know there's Pepsi Cola scholarships wherever maybe your parents work, or if you work at Jets Pizza, see if there's maybe a Jets Pizza scholarship. If you play a unique sport, you play water polo or squash, you have a unique interest. There are a lot of occasions for maybe $500 here, maybe $1,000 here, $250 here for left-handed students. It's worth looking into. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. So do the research, take the time, really think of anything you can think of. Just what's the worst that could happen? That you don't get the money. Again, expand your search. Yeah, this is where it's more than just what's nearby. It could be I want to travel. So you look at another college that's looking for students who want to travel. For instance, when I traveled, when I spent a summer abroad, it was through a college it was entirely different than the one I was going to college at. So expand your search. Let me just say, expand your search. Don't just stick with grades or sports. Think personal interests. Maybe your city, just, maybe the city of Madison Heights might have one, or any local credit union. You don't have to be a member to apply. Look at multiple credit unions. Let's see, what other career goals. If you're looking for a career in teaching, maybe there'll be we have a specific teacher scholarship. Small sums add up quickly. And again, I remember going to school thinking, if it's just a $500 scholarship, it's not really worth my time. Or, it's only for 1 year, it's not really worth it. That is 100% wrong, 100% wrong for many reasons. A, how much time does it really take? We're going to look at some strategies to have it go really quickly, filling out these scholarship applications, and it's worth your time. I did want to show you, we'll go back and forth. But the student loan payment calculator right here. So let's just say for now, you're borrowing $5,000 a year for 4 years, right? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, you have a $20,000 student loan debt when you leave undergraduate. That's our hypothetical situation. All right. At the end of 15 years, this is giving you 15 years to pay it off, payments of $158, you will have paid an additional basically $8,500 in interest. Now, let's say you took some time, you got that down to 17,000, that's it. You just took 3,000 off. You got 1,000 here, 500 here, 1,000 here. If we were to calculate that, that's like $1,300 that you save in additional money. Not just the 3,000 that you don't have to pay, but there's $1,000 in interest you don't have to pay. What if you actually got that down to 15,000? Oh, now it's only 6,300. Now we're talking like $2,500 less of interest. These are accomplishable. These are filling out some paperwork here and there and taking a couple afternoons. Saving a few $1,000s now will save you thousands of dollars in interest over the years. So we're going to come back to that, but I just want to stress that the small sums really do add up. Oh, where'd my mouse go? There we go. Now, paying for school with your money. Once you've applied everywhere, you have either found out or you haven't heard back, you're still waiting. What are you going to contribute? Now, by you, I mean your family, your family as a whole, because each family is different. Each family has a different situation. Sometimes the parents pay for the undergraduate, and that's what my parents did. They paid for me to go to Oakland University. But then if I wanted to get my graduate degree, which I did, I wanted to be a teacher. So that was another 2 years, plus another year for to finish the master's degree. So that's still 3 years. I had to take out loans in my name. So even if your parents are paying for your undergrad, if they're not, it's $10,000 a year. Where do you have some money coming from? Is it from savings accounts your parents set up when you were little? Are you saving anything? Are your parents matching you? Are they just telling you, here's a budget, this is what we can afford? We can afford $5,000 a year. So anything on top of that, has to come from either free money or a loan. What is realistic to be contributed by, your family as a whole, as a long-term payment plan? If someone signs their name, if you sign your name to a 15-year loan, that means you're committed for 15 years. If your parents sign their name, they're committed for 15 years. So if you want to take out a loan for 15 years, don't be surprised if your uncle or your grandpa does not want to co-sign on it. Well, I'll get a better deal. These are your loans, your education, for your responsibility. Earning while you study will help you pay as you go and reduce your student loans. Now, something that's different about student loans is the beginning of how it's structured to pay off. You take out a loan each year for school, or let's say you need a loan each year for school, but you don't start paying it back until you graduate. Normally, when you get a loan for a car, for a house, for anything else, that very next month, your first payment is expected, right? Maybe you have a month leeway, but then right away. So it's unique in that a student loan gives you that long grace period before you are actually in repayment status. Now, there's many loans that still accumulate interest, still have interest being charged those 4 years that you're not paying. So even though you're taking out $20,000 in loans, because it's been 30,000, it's been sitting there for years and years, now you're already have a $25,000 debt before you've even started paying it back. So again, every little bit helps. If you can get a part-time job on campus at the food, whatever different, pizza station, cafeteria area, dining hall, any type of RA, tutoring, give back where it can counteract for some tuition or pay towards tuition, or you can use that money to pay towards your student loan so that you're starting at, what you borrowed in the first place instead of starting beyond what you borrowed. Work study programs, exactly. Selling your old textbooks on campus. College kids will buy all kinds of crazy stuff. So maybe you can sell some guitar lessons. Maybe you can sew some blankets up, some scarves. You have a skill. People will pay for different skills these days. So think to yourself, think entrepreneur, can I rustle up some side hustle cash that I can use really specifically to help me start paying student loans. All right, paying for school with borrowed money. Now, at some point, I'm taking a guess, the average person is going to have to borrow some money for school. Maybe not, maybe it's all paid for, but college is expensive. It can be extremely expensive. My cousin is a professor at University of Detroit Mercy, and he teaches chemistry and mostly to dental students. It's something that all dental students need to take, I guess. And he said that, I guess, going through the dental program, the whole dental program, from start to finish is like $200,000 at the school. And that's astronomical. Imagine taking out a $200,000 loan. You're thinking, okay, I'm a dentist, I'm going to make lots of money and I'll be able to pay that back, but it's a pretty overwhelming thought. So we're going to try to borrow as least as possible. But before we even get into borrowing, let me remind you of this. Not all loans are bad, right? Not all borrowing is a negative thing. There are assets that appreciate, gain value, and there's assets that depreciate, lose value. Usually when you buy a house, over 20, 30 years, the house gains value and it's worth a lot more money than when you bought it. When you go to college, your skills and yourself, your marketability becomes worth more money. You are more valuable. So loans for appreciating assets are looked at differently on credit reports, are they're not seen as irresponsible. They're seen as a responsible debt. Things like credit card debt or a car debt. I mean, quite honestly, cars are worth less than what you bought it for, more and more each year they depreciate. So those are the real negative debts that you'll hear myself and others encouraging you not to have. So don't think of student loan debt as an automatic negative debt. It's a debt that you're in because you're investing in yourself. And what's your return on investment? I mean, that's your motivation to graduate, right? Because if you don't finish, then there's no return on what you've already invested. If you end up requiring student loans, and you may not think so, for years, you may not have to for years, but at some point, again, keep it in mind, a situation may come up. Research financing options. What are some payment plans, payment installment plans? Can you pay all year? Can you pay quarterly? Certainly talk to the financial aid office. Reducing class costs. I'm a huge proponent of community college. And something else, another mistake, when I was young, when I was in high school, I wouldn't consider going to a community college. I went to Oakland University. It's not like I was going somewhere really far away. I started out at Grand Valley. But I was like, community college, that's for, absolutely not, 100% wrong. College is so expensive. And you know what's local and cheap and worth credits and really quality education? Community colleges. And especially being in the business world, the education world, working with Macomb Community College, working with Oakland Community College and Schoolcraft with our scholarships. They put in a ton of time and effort for real quality education. And those courses can be a fraction of the cost. So, for example, if you're not really sure exactly what you want to do, I should go to college. I know I want to be in business somehow, but I don't really know what. Or I know I want to be in, maybe education, but I don't know what I want to teach. If you're starting out at U of M, at Michigan State, and you're just taking courses, to pass the time to get the basic requirements while you think about it, that's fine, but you're paying a lot of money. If you were to take those same basic level, maybe freshman courses at a community college while you think about it, you're saving yourself tons of money. If you do know what you want, a lot of schools like Wayne State, I know Schoolcraft has a kind of school to university program where they have specific deals with if you complete these at the community college, you can jump right into this program that exists with that college. So you can already be looking down the line at your four-year university while you're taking your community college classes. Additionally, summer classes. I took summer classes. I took one summer class, one spring and one summer every year. So I was taking at least one class all the time, all year round. And it does help. It helps lighten the load a little bit when you've got a lot of credits. You're trying to graduate in time. You're trying to not have so many classes at once. Challenging for credits. So if you're still in high school, you're still looking for where you're going to go to school or how you're going to pay for school. If you're thinking of taking an AP test, I recommend taking an AP test. I recommend taking it if you prepared for it, if you're in an advanced placement course. But passing an advanced placement, English, government, there's sciences, all kinds of different ones, can get you college credit, can get you exempt from a freshman English course or a freshman writing course. And again, that saves you money. I was exempt from 7 credits my freshman year because of 2 AP tests I took. That's a huge amount. Sometimes you can test out. That's what it was. One of them was the AP and the other one I tested out for math. They have a very basic math course, and I took a test, that I already knew enough of this math, and they said, yep, all right, you did well enough. And therefore I kind of got credit for that. Look into what's out there. What can you maybe test out of? What can count for 2 areas? Certainly, if you're taking your minor and you have to take these, let's say your minor is a science, and you have to take these basic, biology and geology classes, make sure you find a class, that'll count in both areas. So certainly choose courses with intention. Let me say that. Choose your next semester courses, choose all of your courses with intention, right? You want them to be towards something worth a piece of a goal. Borrow only what you need. Now, when you fill out a FAFSA form and you say, it's a lot more complicated, but essentially, my name's Colleen. This is, where I live. This is where I'm going to be going to school. Either I'm a parent and I'm filling this out, for my child, or I'm an 18-year-old filling it out for myself. This is how much money I make. This is kind of how much my school is going to cost. You're just providing them information, and then you wait, and then you hear back, and you get a letter that says, "Dear Colleen, this is the Department of Education. We're willing to offer you this much as a loan, and you can take it or not." Now, sometimes they may offer more than what you kind of need or what you specifically need. We use the example. Let's go back to our calculator. We use the example that you were spending $5,000 a year on tuition, right? That's our hypothetical situation. So when we apply for our student loan, we're asking for $5,000 a year. But in those 4 years, they offer us like $1,200, $1,500 extra, $7,500 freshman year. How about instead of $5,000, we'll give you $7,500. That way you've got kind of a cushion of $2,500 you can live off of, maybe take some time off work. You can put that towards, computers or supplies, gas to get to classes. And then it's sophomore year and you say, I'd like to borrow $5,000. And they say, all right. Well, how about another $7,500? Same reason, you've got that $2,500 cushion. And, each year you're telling yourself, this is great. Yeah, definitely. So 4 years of $5,000 is $20,000, but you took an extra $2,500 4 times. So that's an extra $10,000, right? So now your $20,000 student loan has become a $30,000 student loan, and you've jumped to almost $13,000 extra in interest. you're paying an additional $10,000 and you're paying an extra, $4,000 in interest. Now, what did you get for that $10,000? If you genuinely use that on supplies, textbooks, computer programs, laptop, things you needed for school to be successful, I can see that. I understand. If you were in a program and you really wanted to devote your time and your effort to studying and not working as much, and I really do need this money to live off of, because, well, first of all, student teaching. Oh my goodness. When you student teach, you have to teach all day. You have to be in the school all day long for free. And then you go to class at night. So you're like, when am I going to make money? When am I going to work and make some money? So in a situation like that, it may make sense to take a little extra money for yourself to live off of. But if you're just looking at those dollar signs, if you're just like, ooh, an extra $2,500, I can get a new couch, I can get I can upgrade my car, all these free money ideas, I'll just put it aside in the savings account, but then it goes towards this party, this pizza. Then you end up with a $30,000 student loan. And remember, it's been sitting there gaining interest while you were in school. So maybe it's actually at, let's say, 35,000 now. So, oh my gosh, now you're at almost $15,000 interest for the same amount you were planning on borrowing that you were paying $8,000 in interest for. Go online, find one of these student loan calculators, put some numbers in. I chose 5% interest. It's kind of a baseline. 4, 3 is kind of normal. You could have 6, 7, 8. So I just picked kind of a middle of the road. But these little amounts add up. Taking that extra money, saying, I don't really need to get a scholarship. I'll just borrow the 25,000 or the 30,000. And then you say, I'll just take the extra money. Okay, so now I'm at 40,000. And then now it sits in the accrues interest, and now I'm at 45,000. You really have to be cognizant and aware of how much your loan is going to specifically cost you, not just this fantasy number of 30,000, but how much is my payment monthly? Wow, $276 for 15 years. That means $300. That means no matter what my rent is, my car payment, car insurance, I have to pay $300 a month. You need to be aware and look at different scenarios before you sign on the dotted line. Oh, let me go back to. Oh, I suppose that's the end. One more thing to mention, scholarships. When you think about, when I think about scholarships, I kind of automatically think of like a 4-year university, like a high school student getting a scholarship to, Michigan State or Oakland University. But there are scholarships for going to the fire academy, scholarships for going to the police academy, scholarships for going into, design school, fashion school, photography program. So look beyond, if you aren't thinking about a 4-year university type plan, still consider scholarships, still look up and research opportunities, for free internships, free resources. Maybe you can get free access to something, free usage of something. So asking questions, I say it for anything financial related. This is definitely financial related. Oh, I also I didn't pull it up. I sent Miss Cureton a handout. I believe it is this one right here. All right. So this is just for your reference, a scholarship application checklist. So you're going to be applying for a lot of scholarships, right? They're all going to be different, but they're pretty much the same in the sense that they're all going to be asking, why do you deserve this? You know, why do you think you need it? You know, what makes you different? You know, tell me about yourself, you know, some of the same basic questions. So you are going to start a master binder. You're going to create a binder specifically, could be a box, but one binder. And it has your resume in it. It has your letters of recommendation in it. It has your references in it. It has, you know, any login information or, you know, it's information that you end up having to look up, social security number. There's certain things you have to fill out over and over again. So if you've got it right there in front of you, you can fill out multiple scholarships in a row, and it only feels like you're kind of doing one or two. You can use, you can write out an answer. Let's say write out an answer in Word and then copy and paste it into where you have to submit the actual application. And then you can use that same description maybe for a different scholarship, or maybe just change a couple words, or, you know, address a few different things. So this is a checklist of things to include in your master binder, in your scholarship binder. Think of scholarships like a job interview. You know, how would you try to stand out in a job interview? What makes you memorable? One thing I will say, as someone who reads scholarship applications, as one of the many people who read scholarship applications for MSGCU, my tips are: answer the question that's being asked. Now, I said you can use a paragraph for multiple scholarships, but depends on what the question is. If it's the same question, so often the question says, you know, why do you feel you deserve this scholarship? Or why is it that you are applying for this scholarship? And they'll give, you know, I'm great at sports, I love reading, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but you didn't answer the question. Or, you know, tell us what education means to you. Well, I've been going to school my whole life, something, something, something. It's really noticeable when you kind of do everything but answer the question. So I'm just reminding you, once you have your answers ready to submit, read through them again. Make sure you're actually addressing somewhere in there specifically what they're asking in the question. I would not just say how much you want it. That's another one. A lot of people, why do you think you deserve this? Why are you applying for this? The answer is, well, I really, really want it. You know, I've worked really hard and I'm just, I deserve it. You know, I've worked hard and this is what I want to do. So I need the help. Not a great answer, personally. Some of the great answers I remember are, you know, I want to go into public service. It could be nursing, it could be teaching, it could be, you know, being a lawyer, immigration lawyer. I want to do this for this greater good. I hope that my dedication brings this outcome, and you know, with this money, with this help you're providing, I can better accomplish that goal. I can better, you can help me help other people, right? So think about how, no matter, I'm not, whatever job, you're an accountant. Well, I want to teach other people how to not waste money, or, you know, I want to be a businessman to help other people know they can make it on their own, and your money will help me learn the necessary skills. So those are my kind of off the cuff recommendations from a scholarship application reader. Miss Kiertz, do you have any questions or anything you can think of?
Just wanting to briefly add that, yes, you should absolutely prepare a 250, 300 word essay and have it sitting aside waiting. So as you come across scholarship applications, you can just tweak it by including the specific information for that scholarship, and then you can just send it off and it'll be ready to go. Again, just like Colleen suggested, what they are looking for is for you, to be genuine. Yeah, everybody wants the money, but explain what it is you're going to do with it. So that means you have to give like a biography of yourself, what you've done and what your current and future plans are going to look like. And that's why this money would benefit, you would benefit from receiving this money. They want to know, what are your plans? You can't just say, oh, you will find you're going to have to start being very intentional on what you do in your college career. You're going to have to be intentional in your field of study. You can't just take liberal art classes your entire 4 years. You're going to have to start being specific and figure out what you're going to do. You can't just be, oh, I don't know yet. I don't know yet is high school level. Once you enter that college stage, they're asking you to step up and be definitive about what you're going to do. And that includes, asking for scholarship funds. And so if you in advance prepare these essays, when these scholarship applications come, because all of them have a deadline, when they come, you can be ready and just insert the specific information for this specific scholarship. But overall, you're speaking about what your future plans are and how it will greatly benefit you to receive these funds from this organization, this scholarship fund committee. Speaking of which, Colleen, when will your scholarship become available for students this year?
In January. So we
Okay,
should
good.
be getting the flyers pretty soon that say, opens. I think January we put the information out, and I believe March is the beginning of applications, but I will certainly get that sent out as soon as I have anything, for sure.
Good deal, good
We
deal.
have multiple kinds. And I wanted to, reiterate, Ms. Kirchen kind of said the same thing as myself. We didn't bring up grades. Neither of us said anything about mentioning your grades or your GPA. What do you want to do? I want to be a carpenter for this reason. Then say that. Don't kind of not leave the grades out of it, but it's not about, I want to go be a valedictorian, or you don't have to think, put the grades with it. Oh, and I had one other thing, but now I forgot it. So
That's okay. As Colleen suggested, there are academic scholarships where your grades and your SAT test scores factor in. There are athletic scholarships where, your success and achievement are, in some sport, swimming, football, basketball. And then there are other scholarships that truthfully are just trying to see and help you to see. Truthfully, they're here to help you. They're trying to help you to focus and set a plan for yourself and stick to it, stay on track for that. If you want to go into education, there are educational scholarships. If you want to go into biology or chemistry, there are scholarships for that, as well as scholarships that just want to know what kind of how you plan on spending your future. What kind of person are you going to be once you get this scholarship? Community service scholarships, where if you work in the community, if you serve on Habitat for Humanity or Meals on Wheels, organizations like this, they provide funding for you to go to school, and again, this is an excellent opportunity for you to sit down. If you've never thought about it before, sit down and take a minute and figure it out, and then write out a 250, 300-word essay. Write out several essays. That way, as you apply for different scholarships, you will have one already set in place that you can just tweak and send off and become the recipient of those funds. I also want to say this. A lot of people leave so much money on the table because they don't think they qualify, or they don't think they'll get it, or they think that it's no big deal and I can do without it. Scholarships are stackable. So a $500 scholarship here and another $250 scholarship there and another $1,000 scholarship over here. You're talking almost $2,000 right there. They're stackable. It's not one and done. You can apply for as many as you're eligible for. And if you get all of them, that is free money to you. So take advantage, take time, sit down, craft out these essays and have them ready so that you can get as much free money as possible. And I also want to state the average student loan debt is very much higher than $35,000. It is, because at 400,
Mine was
hours,
higher.
Yeah.
For just 3 years, mine started out much higher than that.
Oh, absolutely. If you're going to get your bachelor's degree, you will come out between 85,000 and about 150, depending upon what you majored in, if not more. If you're like in, med, law, those extended degrees, even education, because if you're going to go beyond being a teacher, if you're going to go into becoming a counselor or a principal, you're in extended education. And again, you're looking at $85,000, $150,000 of student debt. Just to give you an example, I paid my student loan off finally in June of 2021. That is a long time. Okay. So
I'm still paying for mine. I'm still paying mine. And you'll know I was using 15 years because of the $20,000 loan, but as mentioned, when you get to the $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 loans, these are 30-year loans. And look at this, $80,000 for 30 years. You're paying almost $80,000 in interest. So sure, you want to try and pay it off in 15 years, we'll try that. But now you're paying $600. It's a lot. So,
and this was not, I got excess money. No, this wasn't excess money.
oh no, I
This was straight up tuition.
my fiance went to NYU, and NYU just skyrocket. And I remembered what I was going to say, kind of the return on investment. If you're going to go to school, if you're going to take out that student loan, be committed, be intentional, because dropping out or failing out or getting kicked out and not finishing school, you're 100% still responsible for these loans, and
Totally, you're on the
you're
hook.
not getting anything out of it. And it's just that much more painful, and it doesn't matter if you ignore them, they will not go away. So make sure that you are getting the return on investment, that you are not I mean, literally kind of wasting your money. You gain the education, but you want it to gain you something worth value.
Do you guys have any questions? You can type it in the chat or you can unmute and ask away.
Hi.
Hello.
I was talking to my teacher yesterday about like college scholarships and stuff yesterday. And basically she was just telling me to look up like stuff about like photography and filmmaking because that's what I want to do.
That's what he went to school in NYU for, was
Yeah,
for
that's-
2D and 3D animation. Yeah. And
Yeah,
Nice.
I want to do photography like my dad, which he can teach me that stuff too, but I also want to like do that myself. So it's just that I should go for like filmmaking.
Good deal. Where are you going to go to school at? Once you
I'm
graduate?
thinking. I was thinking. I live in Lansing, so I'm close to most of the colleges.
Okay.
So I was thinking MSU or Full Sail.
MSU, Full Sail, excellent programs. However, I'm a huge debt-free advocate for education, and I would suggest you complete your first 2 years at Lansing Community and then transfer over to MSU or Full Sail.
and
Because
I know for a fact that Lansing Community College has a photography program because I know someone who specifically he went to the photography school at Lansing Community College. So I would definitely look into that to save money.
also, your first 2 years are the liberal art years, which means all of your courses are gen ed, which means that every college and university has the same English comp class. The difference between them is the price. And if you go to community college, the English comp class will cost you around $97 to $107 per credit. It's a 3-credit class, so you're looking at $300. If you go to MSU and take that same English comp class, it's going to be $450 per credit. 3-credit class, you're looking at $1,200, $1,300 for the same class that you could have got for like $100. Why pay an additional? Even though you'll apply for FAFSA and get the Pell Grant, why put that money on an extra amount of dollars for the same class you could get for cheaper? This is what we're talking about as far as making the smart choices with regards to your education. MSU will still be there for your bachelor's degree in your junior and senior years. But if you can get the first 2 years worth of credits and classes for cheaper, absolutely do that. Because you also have to take in consideration, even once you graduate, you have the degree, and now you're going for the job position. The job position is not going to start paying that top dollar initially. You're going to start at entry-level salary. You still have a student loan that you have to pay off. They're not going to care that this is your first year out of college and you're making only this much. It's for them, it's not, it's not like, they are going to adjust things to accommodate those things for you. Now, granted, if you get into hardship situations, there may be things that you can negotiate, but overall, for the most part, when you graduate from college, 6 months after, that first student loan payment comes due. And, it's for real. And if you have and are working with entry-level salaries, that makes things tougher for you to navigate as you go through. You're concerned about paying rent, keeping a roof over your head, food on your table, transportation, car notes, insurance. All of these things are factored in. This is why we're sharing. Yeah, that's great for the 4-year university, but do the first 2 years of community college, because it will save you tremendous amounts of money. And it doesn't make any sense for you to graduate with a degree and find yourself in a financial hole that you have difficulty getting out of because, you know, and then you also have to take this in consideration, and most of us don't figure this factor in when we're doing college and whatnot. Life happens, which means that you could fall in love and get married. There's debt there. You could start a family. There's really debt there, you know. You also have to take a look at the economy. You know, if there are layoffs, are we in a recession? You got to factor these things in. And this is why we're sharing. Get as much free money as you can to help you get these certifications and degrees so that you can, you know, take fabulous pictures of, you know, people or art or scenery, or go into film and make these. You're going to be a film success, but the $1 million, you know, box office, they're not going to come immediately. And so you have to plan and factor this in when you're considering paying for your education. And that's what we're sharing, that we didn't necessarily benefit from this information at the time that we were doing it, because it wasn't necessarily available out there like that. I know for me, they didn't discuss all of this with me. I didn't know that there were other options. You know, you can also get a position at a company where they give tuition reimbursement. That assists you in paying for your college tuition also. Remember that, you know, there's so many ways, so many avenues that you can look into. The school, especially almost every school, but before you enroll, look into each school's portal, scholarship portal, grant scholarship portal, and it will show you a list of scholarships that they offer their students that attend their college and university. I know Lansing Community College has many of those, so does MSU, and you know, all of the other ones. Check into that. Let that be your first start. Go to the school, look up their grant and scholarship portal and see how many scholarships they offer. And they're not all of them are not based on academics, although to qualify for any scholarship for the most part, you have to have passing grades. They're not going to give any money to anybody that's flunking. So let's just be clear on that. So as long as you have like a 2.0, which is a C, you should be good to go on many of the scholarships out there. And don't be afraid to apply. There are so many scholarships that are there that nobody applied for. And so the organization, they have no way to get rid of the money because students aren't applying because they just simply don't think that they are going to get it. They're like, oh, I'm not going to get it. Oh, I remember when I got my first scholarship, I was like so happy because I did think when I applied, oh, I won't get it. It'll be so many people. I don't know how many, you know, people applied, but I know this, if I hadn't applied, I wouldn't have got it. And that's the worst case scenario. All they can tell you is no. If they do, you move to the next scholarship and apply for that one. So yay, good deal for you. You're going into film and photography. Again, Lansing Community College, they have a fabulous program and they offer many scholarships that you can use. So does MSU, you know, they're all good programs. And you should be successful in receiving some type of award, especially if you apply. Please apply. Please apply. Any other questions before we wrap this up? No? Good deal. Well, thank you so much, Colleen, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My number is 586-842-0558. It's 586-842-0558. And I thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time. Everybody have a great day.